I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Smonik,
Yep.
Gibbons,
Yes.
Gillespie,
Yes.
Smith,
Here.
Paulson,
Here.
Hammer is here. All accounted for.
All in attendance.
Good. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at the agenda? And if you have, do we have a motion to accept?
Also move.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sign, passed. Okay, has everybody had an opportunity to look at the minutes? I know they sent it out, so. Any corrections or additions or anything? If not, do we have a motion to accept it as provided?
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, passed. Okay, reports, budget report.
Good morning. On the second page, you'll find the budget for the year. Again, these numbers are through the end of November. Did pretty good. We had some overages on overtime for the guys, partly because of the flooding. Because when we switch them over in April or May, their wages come out of the weed side of the budget. The two guys, both of them do. And then, so of course, that fell in the June flooding and worked quite a bit of overtime with them through that. But otherwise, the rest of that was Russ going out spraying early or staying late to spray. So, chemical, looked like we're a little over in chemical as well, but otherwise, I don't know. Anybody have any questions about it? It looks pretty decent. We're close, so. Questions, comments, concerns?
Is that what it was, Terry?
What's that?
5,500 over?
For chemical?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like it, yep. And I know Russ has been trying some different ones, getting some different, buying some smaller quantities, this and that, and just trying to pinpoint specific weeds, problem areas with some specific chemicals. So, but
Did we spray more this fall than what we did this spring?
that'd be a Russ question.
We did.
Anything else on here that's out of the ordinary we should be aware of, or?
No, primarily just the overtime. That's the big one. And again, typically, so what I do is, when we do our budgets, I have the auditor figure 10%, I believe it is, for each worker for overtime wages. So, and hence, that's why we're a little short in this, because it's only a 6-month window where they have this budget. So going forward next year, so first of all, I'll tell you how we budget them now. Right now, I have Russ, and then I have one other guy from the highway. They're under the weed budget for 6 months out of the year, okay? So everything from April till November, their wages, everything comes out of the weed budget. And then once April or November hits, then they go back under the highway budget. So next year, I am going to have Russ specifically only under weeds as a full-time, because the amount of time that we're bringing over that second guy to help, I mean, we have him under there for 6 months and he might be over there for, if we're lucky, 3 weeks, maybe 4, maybe a month. You know, and I just, I mean, I'm not opposed to taking that out of the highway budget for that month that he's gotta go help him, you know, because, I don't know, to me, it makes things easier and simpler on the weed side, because I'll have basically about the same amount of money is coming out. It's just gonna be one guy rather than having to flip guys times back and forth, if that makes sense.
So that person would still go over to work on the weed
Yep,
for 3, 4 weeks, whatever?
yep, whatever, whenever Russ needs him, the highway will send him down there, whenever Russ requests him, or we get, you know, calm days or whatever. Yeah, you know, I mean, and it works the other way around as well, you know, if we have summertime where, it's too windy to spray or something, and, we need help down the highway side, and then Russ comes down, he'll drive truck for us, helping, doing things too, so. But, so that's how it's gonna be on next year's budget, so, hopefully we won't have this problem next year, so.
Any questions, anybody?
Dumb question. When you go out and spray, you have a separate tank for specifically hard spot spray, weed to kill? Or does it just get all generally, a general spray first round?
No, I have a single tank. I'll load up and do my, what I call road mix, which is my general spray, everything.
Yeah.
Then I have certain roads, I'm on a 3-year rotation. Every 3rd year, I don't care, the whole road gets sprayed regardless, because weeds get away from me. But in between, I check them every spring, and then I only might spot spray, and then I'll load up specific for what I'm chasing.
Oh, okay.
You know, so if I want to chase just Canadians, it might be a milestone load. If I'm chasing something else, then I'll split it up when I do my spot spraying. But yeah, it varies. I try and keep the roads on a 3-year rotation, that you got, it's like a pasture, you can spot spray, and then you just gotta spray the whole thing, because they're starting to get away.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, flooding messes with me too, so. And a little bit on when Terry was talking with the labor and that, the way it was when I took over, yeah, 2 guys there were all the time. But I've made bigger equipment, more efficient, cutting down on what we're spraying, spray where we need it, not just everywhere. So I've gotten it down to where instead of a 2-man job, it's about 1 1/4. And like with a 2,400 gallon tank, I can go spray 30 miles, 6-gallon tank, or 500 gallon tank, I can go spray 6. So I'm trying to make it more efficient to when you're out there, you get something done versus a lot of driving around. And that, where the manpower, labor, it caught up to us now that we need to adjust a little to make it better in the budget. Same money going out, but it's what bucket it's coming out of.
More manageable?
Yeah.
Okay, equipment report.
Equipment, everything's in good shape. Always have a few oddballs when I go through it this winter, but nothing big. We had steering rebuilt in the big truck this year, and, an exhaust deal that cost some money, but other than that, the equipment's in good shape. Computers are good. I'm not looking at any major disasters, knock on wood. I hope. Should be good.
Good to hear.
Spray report.
Spraying, yeah, got pretty much over everything, and, yes, we did more fall spraying because spring ditches sat full of water till the 1st of July, so it was really hard to spray. So I did a lot more shoulder spraying in the spring, which I don't like covering it twice, but you gotta get out and spray, and so I did shoulders, and then this fall I went back, and I'd say I got probably 65–70% of the county sprayed this fall because of, I know, you get up in the west and northern part of the county, every ditch sat with 6 inches of water in it till middle of July, so you can't spray over water, and that's where that changed up. On that spraying, the chemical, yeah, we're up a little bit. I've been cutting down the chemical, and I'm hit a kind of a balance now of what it takes. Now the costing will probably start creeping up every year,
You know, chemicals get more expensive every year. I've kind of trimmed it down about as far as I dare go. I've looked into a couple more to use more spot spraying, but numbers wise, it doesn't save me a lot. So I gotta do a little testing with that, to see if it's worthwhile. Because the spot spraying, I like it because you're not spending money, but like I said, you can spot spray and then it gets away from you. Then the whole road's dirty, then you just have to go spray the whole thing. But I'm trying to get it down to more. Spray the weeds, not just, if it's good, clean ditch where they're haying it and there's nothing in it, there's no sense dumping $40 an acre chemical out there if it's clean. So Is that where that second man comes in? He drives the spot sprayer gate?
uh,
Oh,
Yep. He'll drive full spray, spot spray, and like when I take the Rangers, next year, 105, big wide ditch I can't reach, so we'll go down there with the Rangers and try and get everything I can't reach with the truck. But yeah, he does same thing that I do, you know, pick and choose. I might be spot spraying and he's solid spraying or whatever it need be. But with the bigger equipment, we're a lot more efficient, get out there, get something done versus a lot of run and load. So spraying, yeah, we got over it all, and a couple of the chemicals I tried new, I did like them. I'm gonna go with just one of the two of them. And see how that works to get some of this kochia that gets away on the shoulder, like 128 straight across the interstate. That was really dirty. That worked really, really good on that road, so I've committed a couple more to getting a small amount of it and use it just where I need it. See if I can stay ahead of it. Try.
Russ, do we have a couple townships that still hire us to spray them?
Yes, I did, 4.
Oh, you did?
Grant, Delapre, Highland, Pleasant. Yeah, I think them 4 is what
What
we,
was the
no, and
last one?
Eden, 5. Yeah. Had a couple down south and they've got somebody else to do it, which, that's fine. And I'm gonna pat myself on the back with getting bigger, better equipment. 4 or 5 years ago, it would take me 10 to 12 loads and probably 3 to 5 days, depending on weather, to spray a township. When I fall sprayed Grant, Highland, and Eden, it was 3 loads in a day and a half I sprayed the township. So, I mean, the weather's the big killer there, you know, you get the weather's right, I can go out and I can get a township done. If you got 2 good days, I can finish it in a day and a half versus a week running with a pickup and 500 gallons, so that's where the bigger truck helps. And it's cut back on the amount of running around.
So do we bill then the townships, the auditor, she gets
Yep.
paid, or do they work through you, Terry, or how you do that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
On both spray and
Yep.
labor and time?
Chemical equipment and man hours,
Yeah.
they get charged.
Okay.
And like townships, the ones that call every year, 1 year they get Tordon, 1 year they get Milestone, so I kind of rotate. One's more of a thistle spray, one's more of a broadleaf. And, yeah, so far it's worked.
I got a question back on that equipment report. I see you got there's budget remaining of about $6,900. Does that carry over for repairs for equipment? Goes back into the general or whatever? Okay.
Yeah, you budget what you think you're gonna spend on them, and I got an older truck. Yeah, like the front end, that was over 5,000 to get that done with tires, and now, well, it should be good, it's a good old truck, but yeah, something goes south, so you gotta keep yourself a little bit of a cushion in there. Take a rear end out of one of them, and
Yeah.
10 grand goes pretty fast, but we maintain them, nothing's left, they're checked daily, and great mechanic out there paying attention to stuff, but there's always, who knows? or I drive over a log on Highway 11 and break stuff.
I would think probably if you only had 2 or 3 individuals that do the spraying, that helps too. You don't have so many people
Yep.
using the equipment. Is that?
And
probably
I'm plain and simple, I'm a prick. You get in my truck, don't break it. I'm the one who's fixing it. You don't drive it hard. You're running with unbaffled tank, you can roll it easy and, yeah. I tell them don't, and if they do, then, yeah, it's probably a trip to HR for my mouth, but no, you don't drive my stuff hard. I'm the one who fixed it. And no, the guy that helps me, he's great. He's very conscientious and thinks, and if it ain't right, he won't do it. So I have zero worries when he goes out.
Who is that? What-
Monty Miller,
Oh, okay.
nope, he does a good job. And it always helps that I have somebody help me, because then if it goes wrong, I blame it on him.
Is there any questions with any of those 3 reports that we just heard? If there isn't, do we have a motion to accept those 3 reports?
I accept.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion pass. Complaints?
Only got one more towards the end of the year, and that wasn't even, well, it's not a weed here. There's a guy, witchgrass, that, short witchgrass that grows and blows like tumbleweeds, and he's got a yard full of it. There's nothing I can do about it. It's not on the list. He was pretty upset, and I get it. He's got a yard full of it, and there's some CRP ground south, and it blows in, and yeah, it's very annoying, but
Up north?
yeah, he's over kind of in the Worthing area, north of Worthing. Yeah, he showed up to the shop with a whole bag of it he was gonna leave with me, and I explained, it ain't,
CRP ground can't be sprayed, correct?
CRP ground can be sprayed.
It can be done.
Actually, part of a CRP contract requires that you take care, control noxious weeds. And it's long, detailed contract.
I thought once it had to be dragged or burnt.
Basically you gotta get with them and they'll come out and decide what's to be done with it. But if it's noxious weeds and that, I know when it's initially put in, you gotta control the weeds, and spraying is part of the beginning of it. Then after that, you gotta talk to them if you're gonna spray or burn or haying it and mowing or baling it, burning it. It all falls to FSA to decide. And they got a new director there that I haven't sat down and met with. I should, but I didn't have any big bad CRP complaints this year, and I kinda let that go. Next spring, I should get together with them, and
So when you burn, is there any problems with the wildlife people? Do they have problems with that?
that's part of the FSA thing, or CRP is wildlife, blah, 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 and they've changed their mix, and this is more questions for them. I'll tell you what I know about it. It's more of a blooms mix with flowers and stuff, but you still got your natural weeds that we got here, not letting them get away. And they usually do pretty good for a few years, and then the Canadians get going, and then they gotta do something about it. And I've chased a few, and usually there they'll have them just mow it, which I would rather they sprayed, but that's their deal. Cause mowing just lays it down so the seeds are still there. But it's considered control if you mow it. That's,
I know I mowed some here this summer, but it wasn't weeds, it was some small trees coming in there.
boy, they went
And everything,
nuts.
So I just went out there and mowed them flat and.
Like I do that, chase them small trees in the ditch. I actually run around with a Ranger and I got a mix just for that, but this year with the flooding, I can't believe how many little ones. Places I had cleaned up, now they're just solid little,
Yeah, I know.
just, all right, start over and do it again, you know. And if they're small enough, my Tordon Milestone Road Mix, they will burn them little ones off if they're, 18 inches. But if they get much bigger and you get a stem like your pinky, then it burns the leaves off, they come back, but
And in the typical township road, the landowner is in charge of the trees in the fence line.
On township roads, yes.
Those
Yeah.
cedar trees grow well, don't
Oh
they?
my God,
Oh,
isn't that
gosh.
something how them things grow?
I just, and
Yeah,
they're always
it-
in the fence
It's
line.
just like a weed,
They are a weed in a lot of states.
yeah.
Red cedar is a weed in many states.
Yeah.
And the chemical I use, you have to get it on all the green. And I've gone out and sprayed some of these little cedars. And if you miss one twig on it, 6 months later, it's still growing and going to beat the band. They're hard to kill.
Gee.
They are persistent.
With all the trees and the fence lines and ditches, would it help if something was put in the paper that you got a chemical that'll kill that stuff?
Yeah, you could do that, but that's a restricted use chemical, so they gotta get licensed to get it and use it. And that's, most farmers have that. And I see a lot of them, they'll go out skid loader and they knock them over. You know, they're smart if you do. You go in a bean field and you got this big spot with beans this tall because you got a tree beside it, so I would go after it. I'm trying to raise a crop.
Yeah.
Some do, some don't. I've seen a lot of them that are knocking them down. And like when we go out, I can't go across the fence. That's out of the right of way. If I'm gonna spray something on their ground, I gotta talk to them, which I'm sure they wouldn't break their heart one bit, but you still gotta, so I can get up to the fence and that's it. But yeah, I'll have lots of little trees to chase next year, I'm sure. And I know the county's been running around working on trying to cut back. They do every fall, places where the trees are starting to come out, get them all cut
Sections
down.
and stuff.
And then he gives me a map and then I watch that because all the little suckers will grow. Then I go out and try and hit them early and get them. Because you'll cut them off and then they get shoots all off the stump coming. So I'll go spray them in the spring, let them get growing a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I never run out of work.
No, that's a good thing, right? Job security.
You bet.
Old business. I don't see any items under there, so closing the old year out, right?
You bet.
New business, review the noxious weed list. That's on the back here, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just figured once a year, one keeps the state happy because they see all our minutes, and one, as a group, we gotta decide, are we chasing the right stuff? The state ones, absinthe, wormwood, leafy spurge, Canada thistle, perennial sow thistle, hoary cress, purple loosestrife, salt cedar. I have to send in a report every year for acreage to the state. Like absinthe, wormwood, we don't have a lot of that. It's kind of a pasture weed, but we have some. And I reported about 25 acres, and I'm probably a little low on that number, but when you look at it, you gotta go, if you take a pasture and you grab them all and put them side by side, how big would it be? You know, it might be a 60-acre pasture, so it ain't 60 acres, it might be 1/100th of an acre. So when I run around and do this, I kind of estimate it, and I only said we got 25 acres of that. That's probably a little low number, but they're not terrible for us here. Out west, they're everywhere. And they're out west, that's their Canadian, is what it is. Canada thistle, yeah, that's our weed. It's everywhere. And as fast as you get it cleaned up, somebody's patch gets away. I've got that for our county at about 7,000 acres that are affected. And that could possibly be low, you know, if you really, really get to it, but I think I'm close on that one. Hoary cress, that, another one of them, it's kind of a pasture thistle, not a lot of it. You see a little bit in the ditch here and there. It's easy to get rid of, but we do have some, and I only say we got 30 acres of that. Leafy spurge, that kind of comes and goes. We have two spots, there's some in the southwest and some in the southeast. And the farmers that have it, they control it really good. I have a few little patches in the ditches. I'm saying we got about 1,500 acres of that. And I know the guys who have it in pastures, I don't have any issues with them because they do all go out and mow it or spray it every year. You know, it's hard to get rid of, but it's there. And then what I have in the ditch, I spot spray every year, but what did I say, 1,500 acres. Perennial sow thistle, we got lots of that. That's a good ditch weed and fence line. 2,700 acres, I said of that. Purple loosestrife, that's more of a edge of water type weed in that. I only put 5 acres. When I first took this over, them sloughs out by the interstate, there was a little bit there and the landowner cleaned it up because I went back the next year and couldn't find it. So I know there's probably a few here and there. So I only said about 5 acres. And then salt cedar, that's another river bottom weed. It's more like a tree is what it is. And I haven't found any, but I'm sure if I walked the river from north to south, I could probably find some, so I put it down as 5 acres, just kind of cover my butt on that one. Our weeds that we are local from the list, we have spotted knapweed, musk thistle, and plumeless thistle, basically your pasture thistles. Spotted knapweed, we don't have a lot. There's about 150 acres, a few pastures here and there. Musk thistle, I put that at 1,000 acres. It's more pasture. It's not fields and stuff. So that's where that one sits. And then plumeless thistle, they don't get big patches. Their seed flies forever, so you get one here, one there, but get up enough, so that's another pasture thistle, about 350 is what I put for acres for that. That's all the weeds that we declare noxious between the state and ours for Lincoln County. Now, if you guys think there's something else that should be on there,
I know, a few years back, we had an individual come here and was talking about, I think it was the buckthorn and the hartsthorn and the waythorn and that type of thing, thinking that should be on our list and the issue with that. Have you seen more or less of that, or isn't that an issue? I know we said we couldn't really afford to start addressing that at that time. I think that was back in '21.
yep, that is a tree, and up here in the northeast corner in that housing development, there's a lot of it right there. I found a little bit down south, and it's on the edge of a field. It ain't going anywhere because they farm it out. We would have to petition the state to get them to add it as a noxious weed plant for Lincoln County. And that is very difficult to do because you have to show that it probably affects 70–80% of the county. That's your first thing that gets you. Do I see it running around being a weed that's really getting out of control for us? No. I see it in groves, housing developments, and it doesn't get any bigger than what it was before. That's, when he came and up there, I keep track. When I turn around, I know where his place is, and yeah, they trim it back to their yards and that, and they keep it in the tree line. It doesn't get into the fields because it's easily farmed out. I don't see it getting out of control anywhere. And that one, it would take us some time because we'd have to get the state to actually bring it on. Now, you get to Wisconsin, yeah, there it's a noxious weed because of all the rolling hills and trees, and it will take over there. Here with farm ground, we don't have so much of an issue with it.
So in other words, there is a process that if somebody wants to try to get something added.
Yep, and then you go through that process, because the sheet, if I want to add a weed, you have to put down how many acres are affected, whether it's crop ground, pasture ground, what type of ground, how many acres in the county, how much is it grown. You have to prove to them that
Yeah,
it's expanding, getting out of control to what we feel is out of control and detrimental to properties.
if you have it on yours, is it getting onto Rogers and it's getting onto Ralph's and it's, we have to prove that it's being detrimental or they won't add it to the list.
And I suppose it's gotta be well documented too, you just can't do
Yeah.
it 1 year, it's gotta be
Nope.
something over, what, a
Yeah.
3 or 5 year period?
Yeah, you gotta put some time and effort, and I'd have to go up and, okay, look, it was this big, now it's this big, and it's 370,000 acres in Lincoln County. How many acres are you affecting? So we can do it, but we have to prove that it's real detrimental. That's for adding a brand-new one. The locally noxious, what is there, 18 of them there? Bull thistle, we don't have that on, but we don't have a lot of bull thistle. It's a pasture weed. There's probably a few here and there. And if you do, you've got plumeless and Canadians and musks. So to add that one, I don't think it's valuable doing that.
Is that its name, really? Bull thistle, is that the nickname of it?
Nope, bull thistle is one. Bull thistle and musk thistle.
Yeah,
And I should have put some pictures up for you.
yeah,
Musk thistle is what we see everywhere
yeah.
in the pasture. Well, a bull thistle has that head, but it has like a bulb underneath of it.
Yep.
Instead of that flat, it's got that bulb under it. Spotted knapweed's that way, and it's a little smaller. Spotted knapweed looks like Canadians from a distance. And we do have a few of that, so, but it's not huge. Like I said, it's mostly pastures where you see that, and I don't even see it in fence lines, it's pastures. Because fence lines, you get it, it's easy to kill, so farming takes most of that out.
So approximately how many acres do you declare in your report that are either state or county weeds?
We have 3 local, and the rest are all state.
Okay, so about how many acres? You said you had to do something on a report for the state, right? Is it, 1,000 acres or 10,000 acres, or what do you usually figure?
Combined, I'd have to add it up here.
Yeah, okay,
You're probably in that 12
12,000,
to 15,000
Yeah.
out of 370. And out of 370,000 acre, take the houses, take the roads, take all that out, so you're probably down, it doesn't seem like a big number, but when you go out and look at it, like I said, you go to a pasture and you got them scattered.
Yeah.
If you bring them into a bunch, it's not as big a bunch as, and to me, it looks like huge, but it's really not that big a bunch. And I think we're on top of it where we're at. There's plenty of weeds on the list that we could add to it, but they're not out of control. That
Yeah,
I
'cause
think.
I think 4 years ago when I started, I think you said approximately over 20,000, so that would be much better already.
Yep, they've actually cleaned a bunch up, and a lot of that I'm putting towards, we had some really dirty CRP ground, and that's gotten much better. I'm not gonna take credit for it, FSA and a little pressure from me, because there were some spots that were really bad, CRP, and then working with them, and they're staying on it, actually. I follow them for about 3 years, and, yeah, so we're getting down. Our biggest problem right now is Canada thistle up there. And it has to do with, they buy up a piece of ground, 50, 100 acres, sits for 3 years till they start to develop, and it turns into a patch of weeds. I would say most of my Canadian complaints are all up north, and it has to do with developments inside of city limits that, yeah, they go out and level it, and they don't do a thing, they start building houses, and it turns into solid weeds, and if it's in the city limits, I can't touch it. I can turn it over to them, and they have the same deals to chase, but some of them bigger ones, the one I dealt with, yeah, they bought 160 acres and let it sit for 3 years. Well, you know what it looks like. I kind of explained to them, well, if you'd have kept renting it to a farmer, you'd have had income, controlled the weeds. You can work something out, but that I'm not their business.
Developers don't think that way.
No, I'm not their business manager, and so, yeah, I'd say we have less weeds in the county. To me, there's frustrating with the thistles, but actually there's less, and then that's a lot of the CRP ground, so. I think we're doing better. Me personally, it's you guys' choice, but I don't think we need to add anything onto our locally noxious. If I do, I'll bring it up, we can chase it down. And then the process is, we go through a review where, what, put it on a paper, we have to vote here to add it, we send it to the state, and then in February, they approve it, and then the following year, it's added on. And the ones that we do have, they will be in 2027, we have to review them and re-up them again, because we just did it, I think, was it last year or year before? Last year, I think we redid them all. So, no, I personally think we got the right weeds for local, along with the state ones. I can't see adding anything.
Okay.
That's, I guess, adding it has to be getting away, starting to affect everybody before I would chase it, in my opinion. But it'd be you guys' choice, not mine.
What do you do when you go along and then all of a sudden a farmer or an acreage person has "don't spray," you know, those signs up, and then you go past their place, they got Canadian thistles in the ditch and they're just mowing them with their lawnmower, but do you
Yeah.
spray them then, or do you honor the request?
I honor their request, but then I will, if I dealt with it up north here. Organic, do not spray. I shut the sprayer off. But the ditch is full of
Yeah.
Canadians, so I contacted them. I said, we got two choices. Either I spray it, or you mow it, do something, but they can't go to seed. And they were gonna mow it, and fine, I went back up and I see 3 stripes of the mower when they're trying to mow brome that tall. And called, asked how they're doing, and they said, no, go ahead and spray it. And I told them, I will spray it, a good fall spray with a high rate. If it's under control, I'm not going to spray. But yeah, if there's organic, do not spray, then I don't spray. Can I? Yes. It is county right-of-way. What I will do is go out and hand spray it with a Ranger or something, not go with a truck and broadcast the whole ditch, unless it's really bad. You know, I'll just go out and, usually you got a table-sized patch somewhere. We'll go out and spray that, because they want to be organic. I don't want to mess with it. But if we got weeds, we got to take care of them too. And I dealt with one down south that just wouldn't answer anything, and then I sent that I'm going to spray, and I sprayed the ditch, and it must have impressed them, because then they sprayed their pasture, so. You know, you can mow all day long, but they're gonna come back, so. But yeah, if it says don't spray, I will go back and deal with it if there's weeds, but if it's general broadleaf weeds, yeah, I like to clean it up, but no, we don't just force it on them, because I can spray our right away irregardless, but I try and work with them, and I've had good luck. Other questions on the weeds and that? Otherwise, I'd advise you guys to approve the list as we got it, and we'll look at it again next year and see what we think.
Do we have a motion to do such?
I also move.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
One last thing, I want to thank you guys for your support. You make my job kind of easy. It's annoying, but you stand behind me on what I do. I appreciate the, call it criticism or butt chewing. If I do something wrong, I expect a phone call, say I'm doing wrong, because I get frustrated sometimes, don't get stuff done, but no, I appreciate what you guys do. I can trust you guys behind me on what I'm doing out there.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank
I
you.
think you're doing a good job.
We're trying. Of course, when I'm out there and somebody's yelling, I said, Roger said so.
Don't do that. Public comment.
I don't see public.
The only thing that I could say is I hope everybody has a safe holiday season and a good new year, good start for new year.
And I'd like to say too, this is my last meeting on the weed board as a county commissioner, and I'd like to thank everyone for serving, and I've enjoyed working with you, and wish you nothing but the best.
Same to you, Jim.
Thank you.
Tim?
Do we have to set up a next meeting here? Well,
When is the next one, in March?
Yeah, I forgot my phone, so I don't have a calendar on me, but it's gonna be the third Tuesday
When?
in March.
Okay, what do we got here?
third Tuesday.
It's gotta be, is that like the
Okay. I'll
19th or
look.
something?
I can find
20th?
it. Where's my calendar? Did you find it, Paul?
Be the 18th.
18th?
The 18th?
Yep, that's the third Tuesday.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll be the next meeting, 8:30.
8:30?
Yep.
That
Yeah,
works for you
March.
guys early in the morning?
Yeah, March 18th is the third Tuesday, okay?
Everybody's getting the emails and everything, right? Making everybody aware. That's
Yeah,
good.
so just a heads up, they put all of our stuff now is gonna be on the county website, the portal through the civic clerk, just like the commission meetings are. So anything we have for supporting documents for this will probably be put on there, on the agenda, on the packet. And I think Rhiannon will probably send you out, like when she, reminds you of a meeting coming up, she'll probably send that, a link to that, packet. But if you want stuff printed off, I mean, I guess that's up to you guys. I can print it off, for you guys to follow along. I can still print that off. We can still print that off at our office if you want.
So what's the name of that website you said?
Well, she'll send you a link.
Oh, okay.
And I think yesterday when she sent out the reminder for the meeting, I think the link was in there. I don't, did anybody go follow that?
Yeah, I went to it this
And
morning.
it'll take you right to that website, Randy, so. But, yeah, so we're getting a little higher tech on the weed side here too, so, they wanted us to have all of our information up here so it's available for the public, so.
I think the minutes and the budget printed at the meeting is a good idea, something to follow along in hand versus on the screen.
Russ,
Yeah.
when do you purchase your chemicals, or have you already for next year?
We always purchase our chemicals end of year,
Okay.
before the following year. I don't know if that's good or bad, so I have all the chemical I need for next year, other than two of them specialty ones. I want to see what spring does before I buy them. And it's always been budgeted that way, buy it in the fall, so before, I don't know if that's good or bad. The cost is the same.
Are the prices down a little bit?
There's a couple went down, you get some fall discounts, but I've been reading some, and I think next year chemical's gonna take a jump again. I'm wondering what happens when new management comes in up top and starts doing tariffs and stuff. Chemical, a lot of it comes out of that country, so we might be a scare next year. And chemical, like I said, I've been cutting down, keeping it low, but we're gonna start creeping up cost-wise. That's part of the game.
Anything else, anybody?
I was gonna say, I do like the paperwork to where we can write notes on
Okay.
them.
And that's fine. I'll make sure we get them printed out for you, so.
At the meetings?
Yep, I'll have those printed out for you, because I know you guys don't have the screens, the computers to bring it online like the commission do, so I'll make sure that you guys have them, so.
Thank you.
And just as an FYI, we will be bidding, sprays, again, spray products, probably in February, we'll be bidding. I think we do Freelix, Toradon, and Milestone is what we bid, so. And we typically get that for a year long, so.
If we don't have anything else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
So move.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thanks, everybody.